Hey guys, so today I'm very excited to talk to you about my 226 X Legion. We've had this for 6 months and I now have over 2,500 rounds in this. And it has been such an incredible journey with this gun. I got a lot of great things I want to tell you about this today, a few negatives, and overall we are going to go and deeply discuss everything that makes this gun what it is. So stick around. I think you guys are really going to want to hear everything I have to say about this, especially if you are considering purchasing this. Because by all means, this is not a cheap firearm, but by the end, I think you will think, just like I do, it is worth it. Some may think not, but we will discuss why. So before we get into that, I do want to do a couple disclaimers. So just so you guys know, I purchased this on my own. This was not sent to me by SIG, so you're going to get my completely honest, raw feedback on this gun. Unlike a lot of other channels where they are sent a firearm, what makes this a little bit different is when you spend your own hard-earned money, you're going to critically evaluate something differently than having a free item that you really just kind of glance over amongst many others. At least that's my perspective. I also want to let you guys know this is free, empty, clear. We are completely safe here. So I don't want any strange comments because everything we do here is safe. The gun is unloaded and all the B-roll that is shot at the range is at a range that is licensed and authorized. It's completely safe. So just want to get that out of the way. I know some videos get flagged for that. So do me a favor, guys, before we get into this gun, now that I've completed this review, tell me in the comments below, what's another gun you guys really like or want to hear about and think I should review next? I have a few in mind, and I kind of want to hear your guys' opinion on what you guys think would be the next, hot gun for 2026. And if you guys do appreciate 2A content like this and understand that this is free, this is not anyone paying me to do these videos, please go ahead and like this video right now because it does a lot for the algorithm. And the more support we get, the more support 2A gets, so we can continue having content like this. So to get right into it, let's talk about the setup. So obviously how I ran this gun over the 2,500 rounds is gonna be an important talking point. It did come with this optic. This is the Romeo X SIGLOC Pro. It came installed. I did not install this. It's held up great, still tight as anything. I've unfortunately seen videos where that optic has flown off and hit somebody in the face, and thank God that didn't happen to me. Also ran this with the X300 from SureFire the entire time. And the reason why I run an X300 on this, besides that it's an awesome weapon light, is because the holster I've been using for this gun has been the Tier 1 concealed MSP. Now, for those of you who don't know, instead of using the gun to retain it, it actually locks onto the light itself, which is really cool because then I can use one holster for multiple guns that share the same flashlight. You guys may have seen my other videos that I have. My PDP Pro has an X300, and I have a few others as well. And it makes it a lot easier than buying, a holster for every single gun. So I know I get often asked, what holster am I running for this? Because as of right now, I still don't think there is many companies, if any, that I can think of off the top of my head, that are making a dedicated holster for the 226 X Legion. Very important that you include that whole part in the name because there are many different 226 models and not all of them are the exact same dimensions. So you got to make sure you get all that in there if you're going to get a holster for this. So my recommendation is going with the MSP. You buy it once, you cry once, and then you can use it for tons of different things. But if you find a better one, let me know because I would like to get a holster just for this anyway. So talking about the setup, I like it. I don't think there's anything I would change. I think the optic fits the gun very well. I think the light fits the gun. I have been asked in the past, do I think the light helps with recoil? I've heard people argue that before. I don't think it does. I don't think it's heavy enough that it's actually gonna make the gun recoil less. Not that this gun has a lot of recoil anyway. You know, there is a natural recoil impulse where the gun will move a little bit, but it's pretty flat shooting. It's an all metal gun. It's a heavy gun, and it shoots pretty damn well, and it stays on target pretty damn well. So do I think the light makes or breaks it? I don't think so. I mean, some people might argue that, but for me, I didn't personally notice that. And now that we got talking about what I have on it and how I've ran it, let's talk about reliability, because I'm sure that's what all of you are here for. So we're gonna get that one out early. And over the 2,500 rounds, this has ran flawlessly. And I'm shocked by that because not many guns do that. And you know, a lot of people claim certain brands are more reliable than others, but to not have a single malfunction of any kind is pretty incredible. And to give you guys some perspective, I've ran every type of different ammo, every different brand, grain, you know, defensive ammo, FMJ, whatever I could get my hands on that you guys would most likely also find in stores, I ran it through this. Things I knew ran hiccups in other guns, I purposely ran through this. And this thing eats everything. It's incredible, honestly, because I don't know how many guns these days, you know, it's not uncommon to see a brand new gun have some teething issues and have like a hiccup here or there, and to have none is just, that to me gives me such peace of mind alone. So I wanted to get that out there early because I think that is one thing that makes the 226 special, especially this one. I mean, obviously this is a sample size of one. I've not shot other 226s. I can't speak for other people, but so far, everyone who I know who has gotten these has not had any issues and they love the gun as well. So that right there, that is a huge positive about this gun. Now let's talk about ergonomics, because, and this is gonna be subjective. So my hands, I wear a size large in mechanics gloves. I don't have the biggest hands, but they're definitely not small by any mean. So my hand fits pretty comfortably on here. It's a little thick, but not in a bad way. And while we're talking about the thickness of this, I will say with how heavy this gun is, it just feels premium. Now, there's definitely been big guns and heavy guns I've held that just feel clunky. This is not one of them. When you're holding on to this, it just feels like a good gun in your hand. Like it's incredible. The grip on here, I love it. You know, when I first got it, I had thought about possibly changing these grips, going with maybe, you know, lock grips, because I did that on my CZ Shadow 2. But honestly, I really enjoyed these grips. I think it matches the style of the gun, which another thing I'll give this gun props for is that it has a very unique style to it. This is a gun that I've been at the range and people recognize this from a distance and come ask me, hey, is that the 226 Legion? That's pretty cool. In a sea of where most guns are just black or just FDE, to have something that stands out that people recognize from a distance, that says a lot. As far as the weight, I don't think it's a heavy gun. I think there's definitely heavier guns. This is definitely heavier than a polymer gun. But when shooting this, carrying this, picking this up, I never sit there and think, oh wow, it's too heavy. That's never crossed my mind. Does it feel good? Like, has a good weight to it? Absolutely. But I don't sit here and think, wow, that gun is heavy in a negative way. As far as the fit in the hand, I like it a lot. Now, I won't say it's perfect, not for me at least. For me to get to release the slide and to drop the mag, I do have to change my grip a bit, especially more for the mag release. It's just, you know, when I'm holding, it's just slightly out there. And for me to be comfortably to release the slide, granted, I do appreciate that the slide release it's beveled out a little bit more than the previous models from what I was told, because it's worked every single time. But for me, it's just a little bit easier changing my grip for that. Also going to ergonomics, I love that they set up the breakdown as a gas pedal. That, and I understand some people will love this and some people hate that. For me personally, I saw it on the gun. I decided to use that as a feature. So when I'm shooting this, riding the safety, other thumb on there, and it just keeps this gun locked in. Speaking of safety, I will tell you guys, and you might see this up close, for the first time ever, just this past range trip the other day, tore off a little piece of skin there from the safety. Now, there's nothing on there that's sharp. I've never noticed that before. Like, it's never hit a, I've never had a hot spot there before. I will say the one day when I was shooting a whole heck of a lot of rounds, I did get a little blister from riding that gas pedal. I think it did like 400 or 500 rounds that day. That got me one time, not every time. But yeah, I do currently have this little mark here. Doesn't bother me, doesn't make me think any less of the gun, but it's worth mentioning, I guess, right? Because we're gonna talk about everything about this gun today. So as far as the safety itself, I mean, very positive. Like, I think it's a great safety. I love using it, never had an issue. I think the size of it is pretty good. Actually, I've held a few 2011s recently where that had slightly slimmer safeties, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like a half safety. Like, I guess I kind of got used to riding that safety, shooting this gun, where I just like it a lot. Love how tactile it is. I love how positive the clicks are. Like, it's definitely, you know, it's either safe or it's not. Like, it's very clear. I don't think I could ever accidentally hit that without realizing that. So next, let's talk about the thing that really makes this gun, and that is gonna be this trigger right here. So this is obviously the single action only. They do make this in a double single action. I have not shot that. I was considering getting that before I purchased this. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because my CZ Shadow 2 was that. And I wanted something more unique. I didn't want almost two of the same gun. And I'm glad I went this route, because this trigger, which is a sub 3 pound trigger from all the tests that I've done, is phenomenal. I mean, hands down, in my opinion, the best trigger I've personally ever used. Now, I've not shot a lot of high-end 2011s. I've shot a couple staccatos, and I can say this trigger is in the same realm as those. I will say my opinion has changed. When I first shot this gun, first getting used to this, I remember telling people, I'm like, it might be a little bit too light, at least for a new gun user. And since using it and learning it, this trigger is simply amazing. There's just very little take up. You come to a defined wall and a super clean break. And the reset's very short. I mean, I really couldn't ask for much else in a trigger. I do plan on eventually getting into 2011s and exploring those style triggers. I know those are renowned to be the best. But I will say, for what this gun costs and what it has in a similar price, I don't think you can get a better trigger. And if you guys know of a gun that has a trigger as good as this at this price point, let me know, because I want to shoot that gun. This trigger, it makes this gun what it is, combined with the weight and just how this thing shoots. So next, let's talk about recoil impulse. We talked about that a little bit earlier. Obviously, having an all-metal gun helps reduce recoil. I won't say this thing is completely flat shooting like a staccato XC, because it's not. But does it have a quick return to zero? Yeah. Is the recoil completely manageable? Absolutely. this gun is a blast to shoot. This gun for me was the first gun from hearing from so many other gun tubers say, this gun loves to shoot fast. Yeah, this gun loves to shoot fast. And this gun shoots way faster than I'm good at shooting fast. And I can humbly admit that all day. But this gun inspires confidence in the way it makes me want to push myself to get better, to train with it in that way. Versus guns I've had in the past that the overall training was just so mundane that I didn't really ever want to push the envelope. You know, I'd do my couple 100 rounds and that was it. I felt good about being proficient. This has helped me, just like the CZ Shadow 2 also inspired me to want to learn more and become a better shooter overall. This gun is definitely one of those things that I'll look back and think, wow, if I didn't get into those guns in 2025, I probably wouldn't be the shooter I am today. This gun inspires confidence in a way that I don't think many guns at this price point do. So as far as shootability, I mean, this gun is a freaking blast to shoot. I can't say any better way than that. Like, I love shooting this gun. I love going to the range with this gun. Like, just the thought of going gets me excited. Love being there. It doesn't matter if it's 200 rounds. I could probably do 1,000 rounds in one sitting if I really wanted to. I've never gone to the range, and regardless how much I shot, never thought, wow, that was too much. This gun, it's that enjoyable. And I don't think I've ever had other guns that I can say that about and truly love the gun and love shooting the gun the way I do loving shooting this. Talk about magazines. Over the 2,500 rounds, I specifically used 2 magazines. Now, if you guys saw my CZ Shadow 2 review, the one thing that was a concern to me was the coating on those magazines after 2,000 rounds. It was pretty rough. I mean, they looked almost worse than some of my SIG mags that I put way more, my SIG X macro mags, not to get confused with this SIG, way more rounds through those, and they weren't quite that bad. But the 2 mags I used from here, and they are Mech-R mags, they actually came with the gun, they held up surprisingly well. Like, they look almost new. And I am really, really surprised by that because it was many different range sessions, whether, you know, I did several hundred rounds or just a couple hundred rounds, and they took a lot of abuse, and I'm surprised how well they stood up. I mean, I've said it before in other videos, I've had really good luck with Mech-R mags. I like them a lot. They seem to be the mag that comes with a lot of the guns I like. That's a strange coincidence, and no, I'm not sponsored by Mech-R mags, but I would love to be. But yeah, I think that's definitely worth mentioning because they held up really, really well. Now, as far as the wear on the gun, I do want to give praise because one thing I was unsure about, the coating on this gun, when I first got it, when I first thought about getting a Legion, to me, the name, the hype, I almost thought, is that just gonna be like a safe queen? Like, am I gonna actually wanna run this gun? Like, especially some of the other ones I looked at were pretty pricey. And I was worried, like, is the coating gonna hold up? But not only has the coating held up phenomenally well, but also the coating somehow never looks dirty. I only cleaned this gun a total of 3 times, the third time being actually on 226, February 26. Kind of symbolic. That was the 3rd cleaning. And before that, I've only cleaned it 2 other times. So I'm pretty sure I went 1,000 rounds since the last cleaning before this. And I will say the gun didn't really look all that dirty, which to me is surprising because most guns I've shot after just 1 range sesh look pretty damn dirty. And maybe it's just my OCD, but to me, I feel like I gotta clean them. And I get it. When you're carrying something, absolutely clean them often. But if it's just something you're taking to the range or just something you're shooting here and then, I get you can prolong that. But I do think that's worth mentioning. Also, I will say of all the guns I own, not that any of them are super complicated to break down, but this gun, to tear this down and clean it, has to be hands down the easiest. I mean, it's almost dummy proof how easy this gun is to break down and clean it. And again, I was kind of surprised. After I cleaned it, it looked brand spanking new. There were a few spots that had the ever so slight bit of wear, but overall, it looked brand new. And that's, to me, after 2,500 rounds, that says a lot. That really says a lot about the quality of this gun specifically, and just, you know, how good a 226 is overall. I mean, there's a reason they've been around this long and why they have the reputation they do. So I definitely think that's worth mentioning because it impressed me for sure. So I think I got about everything I can possibly think about of what I wanted to talk about in a review on this gun. And as much as I do love this gun, and I love this gun is incredible to shoot, there are two things that I think could be seen as cons. The first for me, actually I'd say neither directly apply to me, but I can subjectively see how some people would see them as cons. And if you're looking to possibly purchase one of these are things you might want to consider. So let's go back to hand size, right? I definitely could see if you have smaller hands, I could see this one being heavy for you or hard to handle because it is a big, heavy gun. And that can't be understated. Two, and coincidentally, I just spoke to a friend of mine who has a very similar gun that I didn't realize, who is left-handed. And he stopped shooting that gun because of how awkward it was to run as a left-handed person. Now the 226 is not ambidextrous. The safeties are. And possibly could you switch the mag over? I don't know. You'd have to consult SIG about that. Maybe. But the slide release you definitely can't. And I can say from experience, shooting this left-handed and trying to run it with one hand, that is definitely awkward. Can you shoot it left-handed? I can. Not great, but I can. If shit went AWOL, I'd feel confident enough to shoot with my left hand. I could definitely shoot it fairly easy with just my right hand. But yeah, I think that is definitely something you guys, as potential buyers of this, need to know, because if you're left-handed, I could see that being aggravating. And I could see that being something like, could you learn it? Absolutely. Would it be annoying? Very possible. So that brings me to the ultimate question, guys. You know, would I buy this again? And I want to just touch back. I bought this gun never owning a 226, never owning a Legion, and actually getting this when SIG themselves still had on their website, coming soon. So there weren't really any reviews of this. I kind of took a shot in the dark, and it definitely wasn't a cheap gun, especially coming with this optic. It was not a cheap purchase. But would I purchase this again? Absolutely. I think for how good this gun shoots and what it costs, it is one of the most underrated firearms out there. I would take this over almost every budget entry 2011. Not only is the reliability proven, but it's just a really good, solid gun. Now, if my opinion changes in time and I, happen to get into 2011s and get some of the cheaper ones that could be in this price range, and if that changes my opinion, I will let you guys know. But as of right now, I will say I would absolutely buy this gun again. In fact, SIG, if you're watching this, if you redo the 229 in this style, you know, a little bit shorter grip, a little bit shorter barrel, a little bit easier to carry, I'm totally getting one. I want to be one of the first ones to have that gun, because I can guarantee it's going to be a dream to shoot just like this is. So guys, I hope I covered everything that I could possibly think of in terms of this gun, having it for 6 months now, and really everything that it entails. I hope this video helped you guys out and helped you, you know, if you're in the market, makes the decision on this. Because honestly, I think it's one of those ones that once you get it, you'll never want to get rid of it. But if there's something I did miss, or a question you specifically have about this, drop it in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I see it. And guys, I do appreciate you tuning in. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. It greatly helps out the channel. And if you have not already, please like this video. If you think someone you know is in the market for a 226 or wants to hear about this gun, share this video with them. But guys, I got a lot more coming. Videos every Friday. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Peace.